Hey girl, hey, welcome back to Taste of Taylor. It's Thursday, which means we are in studio. And joining us today, it's been so long.
Has it? It was the summer.
That's so long. It's almost summer again.
I know, it was July.
Honestly, Bishop.
Time flies. I really don't feel like it was that long ago.
Hey, you know what? You're not wrong. Well, see, we're older. And when you get older, it's actually time goes by like snap of a finger.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. And I was in Ireland twice already since then. And that always
Sucks.
I feel like squeezes time.
Yep.
And I can't believe it's almost been I'll be 50
Oh my God.
in November.
Well, first of all, let me just make it official. Dez Bishop, hey boy, hey.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey girl, hey.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Some people don't do it back to me, and it's hurtful.
Really?
It's really hurtful. It's disrespect.
I always know the Taylor Strecker fans in my DMs because they say, hey boy, hey.
Do they?
They do.
I love it so much. Honestly, getting hey girl hey is like kind of a rite of passage.
Is it?
Absolutely.
I've definitely been. I've been hey boy hey or hey girl hayed.
Hey boy, yeah, it's all good. You've been hayed.
I've been hayed many times.
By the HGHGs.
Yes.
The hey girl hey girls.
Yes. Some would say I have AIDS.
No.
I'm riddled with it.
So you guys, in case you don't know, people always yell at me. They're like, explain who this is. Now, the girlies know. The hey girls know who Dez is.
It's my third appearance.
But we're getting new people all the time. The business, she's growing.
Yes.
So this is Dez Bishop.
Right, I'm a stand-up comedian.
So you're turning 50 soon?
I'm 50 in November.
How do you feel about 50?
1975. Honestly, I think most people, I don't feel 50.
No, and you don't act it. You don't look it.
My memory of 50 when I was younger
was grandparents.
Was not this.
Was nursing homes.
Yeah, but...
Hey, look at J-Lo's 50.
I know, but I'm not allowed to talk about J-Lo because I once made the mistake in front of Hannah of
saying how hot she was?
And Hannah was like, well, I was like, listen, I'm a I'm not allowed to admire J-Lo.
What did you say about J-Lo, Dez?
Oh, something to do with the pants she was wearing. She looked good for her age.
You said, damn, her fucking ass looks good.
And yeah, in those incredibly tight pants or whatever.
You know what? When I was in 8th grade, not to brag, but this guy, I had on these bell bottoms from Contempo Casual, and I was real skinny because I had braces and I couldn't eat shit. Okay, so I was like Ozempic skinny in middle school, and this guy came up to me and he was like, "Damn, how'd you get those pants on?" And he was like saying it as a compliment, but that felt like he was calling me fat.
Right.
He was my boyfriend, actually.
Right.
And so I broke up with him, and then he said he was gonna nair teeny my hair.
Oh, nair your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was like the Halloween scare. Was like they're putting Nair in fire extinguishers and spraying them on people.
Yep, that's what he threatened to do.
But I think it was an urban myth.
So I had to break up with him because he was fat shaming and also
he was
abusive.
being violent.
Literally.
By the way, you were about to say something because you're millennial adjacent. You know the millennial comedians.
I know the comedians. Whenever, I remember when you first started dating Hannah, all the comedians were like, "Oh man, Dez, this guy learned Mandarin and did comedy in China. Dez, that is the craziest shit ever. That makes you a comedian's comedian, my friend.
I guess so.
It also makes you wicked smart.
Make it smart.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you appear wicked smart because people have this outsized reverence towards language learning, but it's not actually language learning is not actually as impressive as it seems if you have the time to put aside to do it.
I don't believe that.
It's always people go oh, he speaks 3 languages. He speaks 3 languages.
Yeah.
And that's wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's wow.
Yeah, but I'm terrible at math. And that's really actually the smarts that matters.
How so, math?
Math is everything. And I've always been terrible at it. I was terrible at it in school. I feel like joke writing is actually formulaic. And I'm good at comedy because I'm a good performer and I can work things out on stage, but over time. Whereas the mathematical mind can actually see a formula and insert words into it and make amazing jokes. So I don't want to geek out on it, but all I'm saying is that I would prefer.
If you were a math man.
Yes. All my life, I would prefer if I was a math man.
Over a language guy.
Over a language guy, a history guy, I'm a memorization guy.
These are all incredible things to be.
Yeah, but...
The grass is always greener, Des. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather be a nerdy math guy, truth be told. And in the end, it's their world. Let's face it.
It is their world.
The nerdy math guys,
running everything.
Yeah, we felt bad for them because they got wedgies, and now
they are wedging
us
back.
I've never felt more of a financial wedgie up my ass than what the fucking nerds are doing to us now.
Yep, they're really they're getting their comeuppance for sure.
Yeah, they really are. Anyway, we're getting our comeuppance, but I wasn't a bully, but I just wasn't good at math.
Yeah, what were you like back in the olden days?
In St. Kevin's Grammar School?
Yeah.
Well, I just did shows last weekend in Long Island, so actually, a lot of the people I was in school with were at my show, which was great.
What was that like? It's kind of like an impromptu reunion.
It was, actually.
That's amazing.
It's just fun because, first of all, you can really indulge in that nostalgia.
It's an interesting thing. I don't really get it a lot, but when I do, God, it feels good.
I love the nostalgia. And I've written a lot of nostalgic material over the last number of years. And it's funny because younger comics, we're joking about the comedians thing. There's some people that like to dismiss nostalgia as like easy.
Really? Like low-hanging fruit?
Yes, actually.
Why?
Because they're young and they don't know how satisfying nostalgia is, because you don't get nostalgic until you're older. And then when you're older, it's so fun.
They'll get it someday.
And they will. And they'll be obviously the joke there is they will be nostalgic for Instagram, or,
right.
They'll be nostalgic for, like, do you remember when we thought electric cars were just a fad? Or, they'll be nostalgic for things that we don't know yet. But anyway, it was fun to indulge in the nostalgia. But then on top of it, I was in Long Island, so I was able to go real hard local nostalgia.
Oh, so
and
good.
That is, and it's terrible in terms of you're coming up with these like comedy gems that are only location specific, so it's a bit of a waste.
Right.
But in the moment,
it's a beautiful thing.
Very satisfying.
So speaking of generations, so what would you say you are?
Oh, I'm a Gen X. It's not
hardcore.
I'm undeniable, because I'm really in the middle of it. So the way some people are like unsure, are they Gen X or millennial?
Yeah.
I'm not in that year. 1975 is like the epitome of Gen X. Like Nirvana, when I was peak puberty, Nirvana were big. When I was hitting puberty, Guns N' Roses were big. Like, I am Gen X,
So I have like a very Gen X sensibility. I would even say like the Hey Girl, Hey Girls, a lot of Gen X, Hey Girl, Hey Girls.
Yeah.
Because I was in series. I mean, I was doing a morning radio show when I was like 23. So I was like living a Gen X life, but I'm technically...
What year were you born?
1983.
Yeah, so technically you are the early millennial.
I am the earliest. Well, I guess I would say I'm like an Eliza Schlesinger, I'm an elder millennial.
Yes, because some say 1980, but I think 1982 is a better year, because my brother was born in 1980, and there's no way he's a millennial.
He is certainly
not. You know the brother I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I think 82 is the better year. You're elder millennial.
Yep, I just made it by the skin of my motherfucking teeth.
Yes, so that's fair enough.
So, but you have an obsession with boomers.
No, I actually don't. I just like the term boomer humor.
Oh, you just like the term boomer humor.
And boomer humor is essentially what we're talking about. We're talking about this nostalgia humor.
Correct.
So it's just become the term.
But is it...
Like even Mark Norman, I don't know if you know, but great, he's a millennial comic, without a doubt. And even recently I saw he had a joke that indulged in a bit of nostalgia. He also called it boomer humor.
Yeah.
And he's 2 generations away from a boomer. It's just because it rhymes. It's basically just an easy way to sort of to classify the heavily nostalgic routine.
Do you think that boomer humor is like a specific humor that they've like developed over the years, and it's like branded by like their generation? Or do you think it's just when you get older, you just get boomer humor?
No, I think it's just because they're the generation before Gen X. Like Gen X largely are the children of boomers. I'm actually not. My parents are older. They were older than boomers.
I've got boomer parents.
Right, yeah. So my parents are not boomers. So anyway, but I just think because there was that period of time where TikTok was like, okay, boomer.
Yeah.
And trust me, I got okay boomered many times.
Why do you think? Because I feel like you have a very young soul.
No, just because, you express an opinion that they don't agree with, they okay boomer you, which that's past now, right? That's very passe. And of course, all trends are just so
Lightning speed now.
Lightning speed, they come and go fast. But in the okay boomer time, the boomer term, just as a generic sort of you are older than Gen Z, kind of like became the accepted thing. So it's really just boomer as a term became more than just the generation. It became just like older. So I have no problem saying boomer humor. And in fact, like I posted a clip the other day, which was very much in the boomer humor category in my mind. I deliberately say boomer humor because it actually annoys Gen Xers because they love reminding me that I am not a boomer. And I know that.
Because you're them.
Yeah, and I know that, but I don't mind. It's like people are in the comments and they're arguing and I don't care. It's just a silly term.
So you are Gen X. Your wife, Hannah Berner.
She's a millennial.
She's a millennial, but she is so like intrinsically in pop culture. She almost gives Gen Z.
Well, she wants to be Gen Z.
I'll give it to her.
My own mother was obsessed. Coincidentally enough, these girls that were at my show last weekend, they were just saying how much they loved my mom. And I was like, yeah, of course you love my mom because she was obsessed with you guys liking her because she loved feeling like
young.
She was cool and young.
Yep.
And she always wanted young female friends.
Yes.
That was my mom's thing. It made her feel young to feel
I get that. I mean, I love my Gen X listeners. You guys are the reason I exist. I also love my millennial girlies because, hello, birds of a feather flock together.
Yes.
But when I get a Gen Z, I could masturbate to that shit all day long. It's the best thing ever.
So Hannah's joke is that she identifies as Gen Z.
She does.
And that's fine. She gets it. She has her finger on the cultural zeitgeist. She's very strong with noticing that stuff. And she identifies as Gen Z, which is fine. But she is actually very middle millennial.
She is.
She's not bordering Gen Z in any way, shape, or form.
No, but she does like fluently. How about this? If you're fluent in Mandarin, which you are,
yes,
she's fluent in Gen Z.
She's fluent in, and she's certainly fluent in the big cultural moments of our time.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, are you fluent in Gen Z?
I'm really not. I'm very good at sort of, playing the generations off each other.
Yes.
But actually, as time has gone on, and you don't expect it to happen, but I just find myself further and further away from the things that they talk about to the point where I often don't get it. I don't know the events that they're talking about. I don't know the people they're talking about.
Yep.
And I can't believe I became that guy because when I was younger, I never understood how older people, like my parents friends, would just be so clueless as to the things that I thought were so important.
Yes.
But I have definitely gotten to the age now where there are times where I'm like, wow, I did not know that person was literally it.
Right.
Like
who's Lisa?
No, actually,
what's a rosé?
Who's Lisa? I'm up on the Asian stuff. Lisa from Blackpink?
Yes.
Oh my God! Come on, we know who Lisa is. I was very late to knowing Chapel Roan, for example.
Oh.
Or I know now.
You know what? To be fair, I found her one night, late night, and I was just doing some gay stuff, as the gay woman I am, and I came across Chapel. So that's why I probably knew her before.
I only found out about Sabrina Carpenter because she was going out with an Irish man.
LOL.
And, there was I was late to a lot of the stuff.
Yes.
But I mean, I eventually,
got hip to the jive.
I eventually figure it out, but I definitely can be late to some of that stuff.
I will say that I feel like it's part of my job to stay on top of the zeitgeist and know what the kids are speaking about.
Yes.
But I will tell you that my friends, your wife included, the words they use on Instagram, but even more so, the things people say in the comment section, this is how I know I'm officially old. So
yeah.
I have a little quiz for us.
Okay.
It's called Gen Z Speak, okay?
Okay.
And I have words that the kids say. When my nephews speak, they're 10. I'm it's a different language.
It is.
It's insane.
Yes.
I hate it. It makes me feel so old.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'll tell you what I hate about it before we start.
Please.
Is that
it's all abbreviations?
And it's so rapid these days.
I know.
So in that because of social media, these words go from not a thing to everything in such a short space of time.
So
and they
true.
don't hang out. For example, we thought we were cool when we said, chill out. Chill out was a Gen X word.
Yeah.
But it lasted
Yeah.
for over a decade. And some would say it still exists. But now they say, oh, it's chill.
It's right. But then that's uncool in 35 seconds.
Yes. Anyway, go ahead. Hit me with
So
it.
one that's been overused, and I think we both know this term, but like mother, right?
What?
Do you not know what mother means? Oh my God,
No.
this quiz is gonna be rough for you.
Okay, that's some gay shit right there, I think.
Well, here is the tea, okay? All of the amazing words that Gen Z is using, they're appropriating like crazy
Yes.
from ballroom culture specifically, not even drag culture, okay? We are talking about ballroom culture.
Well, that comes from
Stealing-
RuPaul's Drag Race, right?
Yes, exactly. But like even drag is mainstream compared to ballroom culture.
Yes.
So everybody that thinks they're cooler than me and Des, you're all just stealing and we're just finding out later.
Coincidentally enough, I only know about that because I saw a documentary about ballroom culture.
Me too.
And that they accused Madonna of stealing that
Yeah.
with Vogue.
Wasn't it a Ken Burns documentary? That's our guy.
That's our guy.
That's
He's
our
our guy.
I know people are like, what's a Ken Burns?
What's
He
Ken Burns?
basically takes different shots, moving shots of the pages of books. Is that
Yeah.
Ken Burns?
Well, that's the Ken Burns effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Loves
Yeah.
it.
And anyway, we won't,
Okay.
we really don't want to tune everybody out. Start talking about Ken Burns.
Okay,
All right. So,
so-
give me my quiz.
All right. Cap.
Cap, no idea. What is
So,
cap?
Cap and then no cap.
Oh, okay.
You got to take a guess.
Oh, I got to take a guess on cap or no cap.
Yeah.
I would say, oh God, I really don't know. Like as in it's limited.
So cap means lie.
Lie.
So like, can you imagine? Like, let's try to use it in a sentence. So like, I'm saying, oh, it's a single shot, the whole show of adolescence, and
And
you're
I
like,
go no cap.
no cap. Well, that means truth.
Yeah, so it's a single shot. Yeah,
No cap. Oh, nice. You used it in
Okay.
a sentence.
Well, I mean it means no lie.
Okay,
Like you shitting me? No.
I'm gonna do this with you. I'm gonna cover it so I don't have the answers. Okay.
Okay.
8.
Oh yeah, ate like she ate.
That 8. I see this on the internet all the time.
You ate, she ate with that. You ate with
Mother
that.
8. It feels
Yeah,
like they go
ate.
together.
8, I know.
8's, but like, what's it mean?
It means like you killed it. Like that was like you absolutely nailed it. Hit it out of the park. It'd be a very male Gen X expression.
Someone does something well. That's 8.
8, yeah.
Okay,
She
okay.
ate.
Good
8, I
job.
know.
Sus.
Well, is sus not what sus always meant? That like it's a bit suspect?
Totally. You're nailing this.
No, but suspect has been around. You know what? I think actually
This is the
sus
thing.
sus is in Ireland has always been around. I think sus might be new to Americans.
No kidding. Actually, when I was watching Adolescence, so many words. Ta. What's ta?
Ta
Bye-bye.
means thank you.
Ta-ta for now?
No, ta means thank you.
Ta.
Ta means thank you.
So many
that's
words I
just
never
British.
heard before.
Sus in Ireland is not a new word for me.
Okay. Bussin'.
Bussin', no idea.
Let's try.
Come on.
Ooh, maybe it's like, I got my driver's permit.
Bussin'?
I'd be bussin' around town.
Really? Is it?
That's my guess.
Yeah. Like,
Do you have anything you would like to contribute outside of bussin' with my driver's permit? That's mine.
no, I would say maybe like bussin', like
Bussin' a
like,
table?
No, like
Cleaning up the
like
dishes?
bitch boss kind of a vibe. What is it?
Oh, like a boss bitch? Bussin'. Something is very good.
Right, bussin'.
Adolescence is bussin'.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Yeet.
Severance is bussin'.
Severance is bussin'. Yeet.
Yeet. No idea. I don't know what yeet means.
Yeet.
Spell it.
Oh, Y-E-E-T. I feel like yeet is like, whoops.
I mean,
Like you trip over the table, you're like this, yeet.
Right. I mean, yeet. Honestly, I can't guess.
You gotta try. Listen, channel Hannah. She knows all of these, I guarantee.
I bet you she doesn't know yeet. Yeet is like, some of these I think are too hot off the press.
I don't know. Okay. Yeet is when you're excited about something, you say yeet. So it's like, you want to go to Six Flags? And Des is all,
So yeet is like yippee? Yippee? Yes,
yippee, talk about boomer.
Yeet?
This
Like-
is the thing. The Gen Z think they're so new and fresh. They're stealing from their grandparents.
yeet.
Yeet's ridiculous.
I don't even, but you know what? I would much prefer knowing what it comes from.
Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, no, but like.
The children's
no, but
brains.
I want to know the etymology.
I almost said
And the etymology is so recent that it should be very easy to explain.
right. Unfortunately, I don't have it. Would you like to pull it
Where
up?
does yeet come from?
Yeah, what is the origin of yeet?
Yes, that's what I want to know.
I feel it has Latin roots.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm desperate
you
to
could,
Google it,
you
but anyway,
could
it doesn't matter.
conjugate it?
Let's keep going.
Yeetos, yeetas, yeekatorum.
Yeah. She yeets.
All I
He
can do is
They yeeted.
conjugate. That sounds like they skeeted.
Skeet?
You know what skeet means.
No.
Des.
What's skeet?
There's no excuse. This is for millennials. Do you know the song? Dun dum dum dum, dun 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 dun, to the windows, to the walls.
Oh, yeah.
With sweat drop down my balls. All these bitches fall. Oh, skeet skeet, motherfucker.
Oh.
Skeet skeet means jizz jizz.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeet,
There you
yeet.
go. At least you can explain that one properly. The millennial words, you're all over.
Okay. Gas.
Gas. Well, like gas somebody up?
I
That's
feel
not like a new one.
That's the other thing. A lot of these are like actually like they have like roots in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like,
I you know, if
Baby, it's a gas. Can you
Well,
dig
like in
it?
Ireland, so in Ireland, gas has always existed. It's like that's gas, meaning like that's funny.
Okay, funny.
But then also, I feel like the other meaning of that has been around for a long time, which is like to gas somebody up, to like big them up, or like G them up.
I feel like gas is, I know. So, grazing in the grass is a gas. Baby, can you dig it? So, gas is a gas. Like, gas is like, what a gas. That's like fun.
Well, I mean, gas has many meanings. Gas has been around a long time.
Petroleum. That's what it means.
No, but I feel like in this context, like gas, it's like like gas somebody up, like big them up. What do you have?
Means something is so cool.
Oh, right, yeah. Because in Ireland, gas has meant it's funny for a very long time. That's gas.
And then bet.
Bet.
I hear this all the time. My nephew say it all the time.
B-E-T?
B-E-T. Bet.
Yeah, like
It's like this. Like they look at me and they'll be like, bet. And I'm like, huh?
because like in Ireland, there's the term like bet. She's bet down, meaning like she doesn't look great.
Like she's like a butterface?
She doesn't look good, you know, or like she hasn't been looking after herself. That's you know.
Oh.
But you could say he's bet down too. It's not like a
Right.
Not a
It's not
female
just for
term.
girls.
Yes.
Like looking rough. Bet down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's this bet.
An expression of agreement.
Wow.
That I would have never gotten in a million
I
years.
wouldn't have got that, and I need the etymology on that.
Me too. Like, so
That-
wait. So like, I say like, I had so much fun with you guys last 4th of July, and Des is all bet.
I mean, does it come from like you bet? You betcha?
You betcha. You know what? These are all rooted in nerd phrases, I've just realized.
But so does that word come from like you bet? Like, do you agree? You bet.
you
does
bet
that-
you bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, you bet you brought $1 on it. Is that where that comes from?
Honestly, I'm going to say yes.
I want the etymology.
Yeah, I'm going to say that these all come from nerd phrases. Really?
Yeah. Honestly, they simp for old school expressions.
They simp.
These youngsters. They simp for originality, but really they're just derivative.
Speaking of youngsters, how are you? And Hannah, you told me before we started that you had something very big, very special to tell me.
I didn't say it was very big. I said I have a surprise for you, but I told you not to get too excited.
Okay, what was it?
No, because before we started, I said, "Oh my God, you're so thin."
Yes.
And you said, "Oh, the needle."
Okay, first of all, I didn't say the needle.
What did you say?
Okay.
The pen.
Wait. Well, cap. No cap.
No cap. I took Mounjaro for 8 weeks and lost 32 pounds.
Des.
Because, you know, I tore my ACL last year.
Oh, shit.
And I was just piling on the pounds. And I had since I saw you that time,
Yeah.
I had a lot of complications with my kneecap.
Oh, my God.
And I really,
No
after
cap.
the autumn,
Yeah.
I really piled on the pounds. It was bad.
It happens.
32. So I was over 230 pounds.
Yep.
And most of my life, I've been in and around 200.
Yep.
So
30 pounds is a lot.
anyway, and I had a lot of resistance from people being like, "No, don't get too skinny." But anyway, I took Mounjaro for 8 weeks, and I lost 32 pounds.
Let's talk about it.
And it was amazing.
Isn't it the greatest thing ever made? Miracle drug. I feel blessed to be alive in these times.
Now, I have to say, one of the motivations which put me over the edge, because first, I'm not going to name the person, but a very fit and healthy guy who's a lot younger than me that I know in the UK. I met him in November, and he was like, "Yo, I've been taking Mounjaro." And like, this guy's still in his 20s, and like, he would be like, "Why are you taking Mounjaro?" Anyway, So he was like raving about it.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, I must check. I was thinking about it. But then there was all these articles about, inflammation, and people talk about joint pain and you're getting relief from joint pain. And I was really struggling with my recovery from this damn injury. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. And he was on Mounjaro. So I went for, I was Zepbound, the same shit.
That's my boo thing. I fucking love Zepbound.
Trizepatide.
Trizepatide is where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it has 2 active. And now there's a new one that has 3. But anyway.
It does? What's it called?
I can't remember. Something else aside.
Oh my God. I really want to lose 3 pounds.
Anyway, so I said I would give it a shot. And trust me, you get a lot of pushback from people.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
And trust me, also I hide the weight pretty well. So like everybody was like, why? But like I was over 230 pounds.
I'll take your word for it. I mean, listen, when you're in recovery from a surgery like that, like it makes sense.
But honestly, one of my big motivations was I want to get like 20, 25 pounds off my knee. I was like, because Laura was like, oh, when you're doing your rehab, eventually you have to load. Eventually you have to add weight to your rehab. And I'm like, yeah, but I've added, I do naturally.
I'm an overachiever.
I added a dumbbell to my fucking stomach. And anyway, like all my shit didn't fit me anymore. Like my clothes didn't fit. So of all the things, because my knee has gotten way better, lost tons of weight. 32 pounds, like that is no joke.
Tell the people, because I've been telling the people.
No, but here's the thing that I love the most.
Tell me.
I literally, it was like I went on a shopping spree because suits that I have not been able to wear for like 3 years.
The best.
I'm now wearing.
Yep.
It's like, it's hard to, I couldn't believe it.
I know.
8 weeks. And I get it. I'm cheating. I know that.
You know what? I'm so sick of this concept of cheating.
I know, but 8 weeks, 32 pounds is insane.
If, you drove your car to the grocery store and somebody was in the parking lot being like, cheater! With like a horse and buggy. You'd be like, shut the fuck up. Grow up.
Yeah.
Use electricity. You know what I mean? So I just feel like
it worked better than I expected, though I had to stop.
What was your favorite part of it? Like mine's the food noise. Like it goes away. My psycho obsession with food, I didn't even realize it was a psycho obsession until I took the medication.
Yeah, women talk about that a lot, actually.
It's insane.
I honestly, for me, it was just, I've dieted before in my life, intermittent fast and all these things.
Right.
Whereas I was just like, wow, you just do that without,
I know.
You diet without dieting. That's the way I felt.
Perfectly said.
But I have to tell you,
perfectly said.
I did get some nausea. And I had enough, because you know what happens is, everybody else gets on it. You feel like a crack dealer because you're like, bro, this is the best thing ever. Totally. But then another friend of mine got on it, and somebody else. I got 2 people on it, right? They did not have the side effects that I had. I did have, I did have some nausea.
I know, but everybody says, like, people be like, but the nausea, and I'm like, you know what makes me fucking sick to my stomach? Going to the gym. You know what makes me feel ill? Counting calories.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I mean,
but I felt
hungover every day, which I feel anyway.
I had some real nausea, and I was touring in Ireland.
Like barfing?
I never puked, but I definitely felt like I was going to puke.
Yeah.
And there was a few times where I was like touring, and I was backstage. Like one time I was in Limerick, and I was backstage, and I was like, wow, I'm fucking, like, this is going to be a hard show. Like, I was struggling at times. So I have to be honest with people that, like, I think one of the reasons why I lost so much weight so fast, because 32 pounds in 8 weeks is actually, like, on the faster side.
I guess, yeah, that's pretty fast, yeah.
Part of that was because I was quite nauseous. And there were times where, like, I really did struggle to get the calories in.
Yeah, so, you have to, like, really focus on it. Yeah,
there were days where, because obviously you're trying to get in a calorie deficit, right? And I was trying to do, my thing was like 1,600 calories a day, right? Is like, that'd be pretty express weight loss.
Yes.
But there were definitely days where I was struggling to get 1,000 in because I just couldn't fucking eat.
I know. Isn't it the best?
And by the way, I did the introductory dose of 2.5, and then I did a month of 0.5. That's it.
Stop bragging. I'm at 7.5.
Or 5, I should say, because you're on Ozempic, right?
Nope, I am on Zepbound.
Oh, you are on Zepbound.
I'm a trizepatide bitch.
You're still taking it?
I'm never gonna stop.
Okay. So today's Wednesday, right? So I'm 4 weeks since I took a shot. And I was 198 2 days ago. You know, like obviously that fluctuates, but I always weigh myself in the morning.
Right.
Before anything else.
You have to.
And because obviously weight is not a good. Weight is a funny,
fickle fellow.
Yeah, it's fickle. However, if it's the same time every day, you get a fair gauge. Because obviously, sometimes I weigh
Absolutely.
you weigh stuff later in the day, you're going to weigh more. That's just the way it is, right? But at least you get a gauge of your progress.
You know what's the most fun?
But you know what else? Oh, go ahead.
Weigh yourself. Poo. Weigh yourself.
Well, so it's so funny because I was about to bring up poop also.
Oh, I love poop.
So I had a lot of constipation in
You're speaking my language. Just ask my hemorrhoid.
I had a lot of constipation throughout the Mounjaro. Even though I wasn't taking Mounjaro, I was taking Zepbound, but nobody knows what Zepbound is when you tell them so. And it's the same thing, right?
Yes.
So, and I was on Lily Direct. So the reason why I say needle is I wasn't on the pen.
Right.
I had to actually like...
Oh, honey, I've been pulling. I've pulled.
You've been Lily directing?
I've done it all.
You've been Lily directing?
Yeah, she was a compound queen for a while. So I was direct from the jar.
I wasn't compounding, but I did get somebody else on the compound because I was worried that my Zepbound wasn't going to come in time before I went to Ireland.
Yeah.
So I also ordered some compound Ozempic, some compound semaglutide from a different
like a real addict now.
Yeah, from a different organization. But in the end, my Zepbound made it.
Thank
God.
God.
So I gave my compound semaglutide to somebody else.
Oh my God, tell me when you have extra.
Oh, I have some now, actually.
Oh my God, literally.
And we'll talk about it after the show.
I know somebody who's looking for some.
Yeah, actually,
it was so great when I had the compound because you can kind of like this. Are we going to go to jail? Probably.
Well, they're getting rid of the compound semaglutide now.
No way.
Well, so I keep getting these because I got the compound semaglutide from Hims.
Yes, Hims and Hers.
So now I'm getting like all these messages from Hims, like sign this petition to keep compound semaglutide.
Did you get shamed?
But I've never taken compound semaglutide.
They're fantastic.
I
They're
took
the same thing.
Zepbound from Lily Direct.
Yes.
And now that we have a 90-day reprieve from tariffs, that won't be going up. But I have a month's worth that I haven't taken because I'm gonna be getting hit up with the DMs. Yo, how much for your 5? How much for your 4 injections of 5?
Literally, I know people who are gonna be asking for that.
When you went for the needle one.
Yes.
How nervous were you the first time? Like, how weird was it to be like, suddenly I'm like upside down pulling this thing out, trying to get rid of bubbles.
Oh,
how hard was it? How hard? The first time I couldn't believe how difficult it was for me to push this thing into my skin.
Okay, so I was on tour when I first started it.
1, 2, 3, 4. I couldn't. It took me like 5 or 6 goes. It's like cliff diving.
So it's the craziest thing, injecting yourself. So, I mean, Tay had to go through this because we did infertility treatments, IVF.
Right.
So, but
Cold Harbor.
But she was like, I couldn't do her. And I had been doing me. I was kind of like, oh, I got this, motherfucker. I give shots to myself all the time.
You couldn't do her. That's why you needed fertility treatment.
Ayo.
But what are you gonna do?
I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't hurt you. So it was harder for me to do it on somebody else than myself. But man, the courage I had to work up to get it into myself.
And then it's nothing.
And then no, but the thing is if you hesitate, you will die. Like you just gotta be strong. You just gotta grab the chunk. You just gotta go. Like the faster and firmer you go, the better. If you hesitate, do you know how many times I poked myself and it wasn't even in?
Oh my God.
I've bent needles, dude. It's crazy.
Well,
I don't know how drug addicts do it. Honestly, respect.
Yeah, and honestly, because they have it much harder.
They have veins.
And they're not using the tiny needle. Like the needles that we're using. You can't, because I bought extra needles on Amazon.
You have to.
Because I was so panicked because I screwed up the first time. I misunderstood the dosing, so I only half dosed, and then I looked it up. So then I had to do the second.
It's better than if you double dosed.
No, but I had to do it again like an hour later. And then I was like, no, I'm going to run out of needles. What if I could do, So then I went on Amazon. I was like,
snorting it?
Now I have 100 needles. I have more needles than anyone could ever imagine. But if you were a heroin addict, I've never taken heroin, but I have a lot of heroin addict friends, clean addict, friends that got clean. And they have to use the hypodermic needles, which are like much longer. And they have to get a vein. I can't imagine.
I mean, that's commitment.
Yeah.
Also called addiction.
But isn't it funny how TikTok suddenly knows, and then it's like, here's the best injection sites for your Zepbound.
What do you do? Tummy? Thigh,
I just do my
butt.
tummy. I never had to change. I only did 8 injections.
That's true.
So I just went back and forth between my right and left side of my belly button.
Did you ever ask Hannah for help?
No, because I was in Ireland most of the time I was doing it. And so do you want to know what our running, you know the way you have like dumb running jokes?
Yes.
So like if Hannah like pigs out, like she orders like a huge thing on Uber Eats. And she's like, oh my God, I'm totally pigging out. Then I won't say anything. I'll just quietly go around the corner to where I have my 100 needles, and I'll just like grab the needle and I'll just like throw it at her, like in the packet. I'll just like throw it at her. That's like our running gag. You know what I mean?
Hey, you want some of this?
Yeah. Or she'll say something, like she's like, "Oh, do I look fat in this?" And I'm like, "You know what I got in the fridge?" But that's just like our running, because Hannah doesn't need it, by the way. But I went in these cycles where like for 2 or 3 days it'd be nothing, and then not that often, but once or twice, let's just say we had like a full evacuation, like as in like. The earthquake alarm was going off.
That was a really beautiful, poetic way of saying it.
Yeah, and so we were talking about this area is not safe. Like, please evacuate the area. And then the next morning when you hit the scale, you're like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Like sometimes it would be like a 4-pound difference from the day before.
I know.
But I never got excited about the insane fluctuations. I got excited about just the average sort of dip.
Just every time, what a concept. Every time you go on the scale, it's going to be down, never up. No,
I mean, I did have a little bit of up.
Yeah.
Just throughout a week, I would never have an up.
You can only weigh yourself once a week. That's Weight Watchers 101, friend.
Yeah, but throughout the week, like a week to week, never up.
Never.
No, never.
Yeah.
But day to day, some days I would just weigh myself every morning.
Yes.
No, but I have a funny compound semaglutide story. I'm not going to say who.
Okay.
But somebody I know was doing the compound semaglutide, which of course is, and so I don't know if you did the compound semaglutide, but those vials are much bigger, and you're hitting the same vial for a while.
Yes, I've done those.
Yeah, not the same as the Lilly Direct.
Yes.
Zepbound. So anyway, this person started on compound semaglutide, and they were getting real results, and they were getting side effects.
Right.
And then, like suddenly, like it just like wasn't working as well, and I happened to be with this person, and like they were like telling me that they'd gone up a dose, and like they just like wanted to snack all the time, and I was like, "Yo, man, like, what's going?" I think you're not doing it right. So like a week later, they call me and they say, "You're not going to believe this, but
no,
I wasn't turning the vial upside down.
They were injecting air?
They were like fucking like a balloon."
First of all, can't you like fucking die
Well, I think
from
if you
that?
do that, I think if you do that in a vein, yeah.
Because like my fear was the bubbles. I was like, these goddamn bubbles.
The bubbles, I know, because growing up as a kid, it's always like you got to get rid of the air bubbles.
I was like, I'm gonna die if I get one of these bubbles.
So anyway,
for air?
For however long the vial had gotten too low for the needle.
They weren't like putting the needle down and pulling. Didn't they realize that there wasn't like red serum coming in?
Probably for about 3 weeks.
Wow, is this person okay?
Well, now they're fine because they've turned
No, I
it.
mean,
They've turned
is
it
this
upside.
person okay?
Anyway, it was hilarious. I was like, "What did you think you were, like a soccer ball? You're fucking putting the needle in the nozzle, fucking blowing yourself up with air." But anyway, all's well that ends well. They're
Oh
back.
my God.
But honestly, what I will say is like, they do leave a lot up to you.
They do. Well, you don't want to know what they really leave up to you. IVF. That shit is crazy. I was like at home literally cursing like anybody I could think of to curse. I was like, this is fucking insane. It's so expensive. The meds are thousands of dollars.
Yes.
They send you home with a fucking coloring book, as far as I'm concerned, a pamphlet, and you're like, the needle is like this big. It is, I don't know how people do it. And we have doctors on my side, we have doctors on Tay's side. Like, thank God, like, I don't know how people without doctor friends and family do this shit. Like, Des, insane. I mean, this is like operating heavy machinery. It should be illegal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
Injections up to
crazy.
people, insane. Now, I have not had any of the IVF experience. I have watched 2 male comics talking about it recently.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot about the IVF stuff other than there's an IVF storyline in Severance.
Yes.
Which, was quite heavy.
God.
But we won't talk about Severance. I feel like everyone's overloaded with Severance.
You know, we haven't talked about like a ton. I love it. I think it's a great show. But man, you have to really work hard to get into that shit.
I love it. I'm a Severance addict.
It took me, I will say, speaking of cursing the day things were born, I was like furious. as I was watching like up to episode 5. I was like,
Of
fuck
season
this
1?
show. Yes, I was like, fuck this show. I feel like I'm at a job I didn't ask to get. Like the fluorescent lights and just like the white walls.
claustrophobic.
It was so claustrophobic, which I know is the point. But I can't remember what episode it was, but it was like episode 5, and all of a sudden at the end of it, I was ready to quit.
Wow.
And then I was like, wait, that was so interesting what just happened there. That one little thing, I don't remember what it was. And then I was like, okay, wait, I think I might be in. And
Wow.
then from then on out, I was rocking and I was rolling.
That's the way I was with smoking weed. It took me quite a while of smoking weed before I even realized I was high. So your experience with Severance was my experience with marijuana.
What was your first time you smoked a doobie?
The first time I smoked a doobie was the last day of school, 1990. So my freshman year of high school, coincidentally enough, with my best friend PJ, who called me right before I came here, and I missed the call. And he was a weed smoker, and they were very open about weed smoking in his family. Anyway, the last day of school, we cut first class and we smoked weed in the park near St. Francis Prep. And I had no concept of being high. I just had the concept of being bold and naughty.
You were high
And my
on your
girlfriend at the
naughtiness.
time, who was
Yes.
in my homeroom class, or my core, as they called it in St. Francis Prep, she was mad at me that I did it.
Ooh, because she was a good girl.
At that time, yeah, that would have been considered quite bold. A couple of years later, everybody would be smoking weed.
Literally.
But I smoked weed for quite a while before I actually saw the point of it.
I still don't get the point of it, and I wish I did. Like, I want to be clear. Drugs are cool, and smoking weed is the coolest. I'm just not cool. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like a real loser with it. Like, I'm not even joking. You could be smoking a joint right here, and I could inhale the secondhand smoke, and I would be so high, I'd have to put lotion all over my body and eat like everything in the kitchen. I have no chill when it comes to, I'm a simp when it comes to weed.
Yes.
The biggest.
Yeah, so I haven't smoked weed since I was 19, but I even at my peak of alcoholism and drug addiction, I still never really saw the point in weed.
Me neither.
The only thing weed really did for me was make me want to seek out better drugs. Honestly. Like, for me, it was like, what's the point in stopping here? This is just like, this is like a warm-up.
No, weed is like a punch to my face. Like,
Really?
weed might as well be heroin as far as
But
I'm
I think
concerned.
it's a lot stronger these days, so I can't speak to any of the modern iterations of THC.
No, every time, like, I have friends that are around, like, doing gummies. I have friends that are, like, smoking joints. And I literally, every time I do it, I'm such a fucking follower. I'm an adult person, okay?
Yes.
And I still am like, it's not even anyone's peer pressuring me. I just want to be included. And I do it, and I always regret it because I'm
Really?
in the corner crying because I think everybody hates me. And I
Oh.
have to order what Hannah orders off of her Uber Eats. I have to order 15 different things.
Yeah.
McDonald's and Taco Bell and KFC. I gotta get it all.
I have no problem with people smoking weed. I have a problem with people who make it their personality.
Okay, fair enough.
And I have a problem with people who are stoned all the time.
I agree
because
with
for
that.
me, I go, what is so wrong with reality?
Right, that we have to escape.
Like all the time.
Right.
You know? So,
Yeah.
but that's just that's me.
Wake and bake, really not for me.
Wake and bake, not for me either.
Yeah, and if you wake and bake, I'll judge you.
Yeah, but I won't judge you to the point where I won't want to be your friend.
Right.
But I will judge you to the point of I don't understand why you need to do that. And I would argue that there's something underlying that should be dealt with.
We should maybe,
But
yes.
that's a judgment on my behalf. You don't, and whoever, even people listening, if they feel judged by me, you do not need to pay attention to my things. But I would argue that you should at least have just like a few hours a day of non-intoxication.
Yeah, just try.
Just try.
A couple hours.
Minimum.
8 to 10 a.m.
I do feel that it dampens some of your emotions, and I feel like sometimes you just have to know what's going on emotionally.
I agree. What is something that somebody could do that would make you not want to be friends with them? Because I never wanted to those things. Because getting the love of Dez, truly, it's an amazing thing. When I knew we got you, I was like, fucking victory.
Wow.
It's true. I feel like you're not easy to win over.
You know what? I don't think that's true, but I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think that my resting face,
You have a resting bitch face.
I have it. People think that I'm judging them when I'm not. I'm just in my head.
You have resting Catholic face.
Yeah, and also I think because I'm from Queens and I have this like aggressive accent, people often assume that I'm angry when I'm not.
Right.
Or that I'm like in a mood when I'm not.
Right.
Because I think that like everybody in my house carried on like they were in a mood, but they weren't. It's just the way that we interact. Like people always think I'm annoyed. And when I talk to my cousins, I always think they're annoyed with me, but then I just realize like, no, that's how we interact.
That's just the baseline is.
That's just, and like we kind of like, we sort of communicate in like, what the fuck is with this kind of energy? Even though we're just talking about like, what are we going to have for dinner?
That's
I have a joke in my show
the
that
New Yorker
it's
in
a
you.
problem in my marriage with Hannah because she always
She
thinks
loves it.
She always thinks we're fighting when I just thought we were talking. That's the joke. So the joke is like, she'll say something, I'll be like, shut the fuck up. And she'll be like, don't tell me to shut the fuck up. And I'll be like, no, I didn't mean like shut the fuck up. I meant like shut the fuck up. And she's like, I can't hear the difference. It sounds like you want to kill me when you say get in the car.
Tay always accuses me of yelling at her, and I'm not even talking about you. I'm telling a story about somebody I'm mad at.
I know.
And she's like, but you're yelling at me. And I'm like, I'm yelling at them.
Yeah, I know. So that's it. You're from Boston, right?
Yeah, I mean, same, right?
Yeah, well, it's same because
Totally.
people always accuse me of copying Bill Burr, and I'm like, I'm not even inspired by Bill Burr. Like, I haven't even watched a lot of Bill Burr. We just happen to sound alike because we're both from these like Northeastern fucking urban environments.
It's true.
Anyway, that was that.
How is Hannah? How are you? How are you guys? Because you guys are traveling so much apart from each other.
Yes.
Would
Did I do my joke on the last time we had the show? I can't remember.
What?
So my joke, which I've done on stage and on an Irish television chat show, is people always say, "How's married life?" And I say it's great, and they say, "Well, you guys are traveling all the time. It must be hard." And I say, "Well, we're together half the time, right?" And so I say, people under 35 always say, "Oh my God, that must be so tough." And people over 50 always go,
What a dream.
"You guys are gonna have a great marriage.
Literally.
You guys are gonna make it."
That's what I was gonna
So
say.
then my other joke is I say, because absence makes the heart grow fonder, and togetherness makes you hate the sound of each other's breathing.
Literally. Do you guys?
This is a joke, right?
Obviously.
But honestly, I'll tell you, there's loads of layers to this. One is, it's true, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It does.
Two, I think if you have two people that really care about their jobs and understand each
Yes.
other's passion for it,
Yes.
that can actually take a lot of pressure off. Because often in a relationship dynamic, you have one person that cares more about their job than the other, and the
Yep.
other person can feel like the mistress to
the career. Totally.
But neither of us feel that.
No, you guys get your love.
We're in an open relationship with comedy.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
We're in an open relationship with our desire for adoration.
Yes.
So, so that actually works out fine for us. But anyway, we're cooking.
You're cooking.
We're cooking.
You guys really are. Power couple.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we're gonna have kids, right? And like that will be the moment where, because all these things, this conversation we just had,
Okay.
is all relevant to a couple that doesn't have children.
Right.
Because you have the freedom to indulge yourself in your career with only being concerned with each other. And if each other respect those decisions, then you have no drama.
Right.
But obviously, when the kids come along, then you have the responsibility of looking after the kids. And that's, I think, when the issues around like who's away more can really come up.
For
you know?
sure. I mean,
And also, that's when the issues of your own desire to be around your kids more can come up. So not only
Right.
do you have the issue of, does one person in the marriage feel like they're looking after more responsibilities, you have the other issue with yourself is, am I putting my career before my
kids.
time with my children?
Right.
And so all that's way more complicated. So if there's anyone listening that's married with kids and you're saying, oh, that's very dismissive to just say it's okay to be apart half the time, I am very aware that this
under
is
these circumstances.
under the circumstances that we're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've already decided that when we have a child, I'm going to amp up my travel, so I have to be gone.
So when you have a child,
You heard me correctly.
that you want to be away.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is that an agreed upon arrangement?
You know, which is something that I've kept inside of my head for a long time, and I decided to share it with you.
Well, it's funny because over the years, obviously a lot of my comedy friends that I started with, they all got married and had kids. And it was always like if we were away, like at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, because those festivals, like we could be away in Australia for like 6 weeks.
Literally.
And you could, like, those guys were always feeling like immense relief of just, like, they had permission to be away. There was
Right.
nothing they could do. They were
Right.
halfway across
It's
the
work.
world.
It's work.
And it's like, it's an extreme freedom. But on the flip side, I did always used to think about their spouse back at home and think like, this must cause a lot of stress
Right.
when they get back, or just in general, that can create, some issues around like, well, it's fine for you. You've just spent 6 fucking weeks not having to worry about our child.
Right.
Well, here's the one thing that it seems to me is that it's impossible really to have these conversations because everything changes when they're born.
It's true.
So it's all kind of, grand plans. And it's not about, oh, you have no idea how stressful it is. I think, and I'm speaking from just watching other people, I just think you have no idea how you're going to feel.
Right.
And it's one way or the other. Like, some people might feel actually like an aversion, right? Which will take them by surprise. And some people might feel the opposite, where it's just like, I will gladly never work again because all I care about is looking after this child. So one thing I know for sure is I don't know how I will feel.
That's, the only thing you can bet on is that you have no fucking clue how it's going to feel once it happens.
Yes.
I'm going to say this. I am really lowering everyone's expectations of me as a parent. So I can
you never
thrive.
know if it's going to work out.
Well, that's the
like
truth
in terms
too.
of, you never know if you're going to have.
Yeah.
Because I saw that. And actually, very emotional Netflix series about the birth of IVF. I don't know if you saw that. And it really actually, I found myself bawling, crying. I happen to know a couple of people in it, which was like slightly distracting because they filmed it in the UK, so there was some Irish actors in it. But it was really fascinating. First of all, they really had to battle against the religious people about IVF.
To even get to this point.
Yeah, but just to see these women particularly, but couples in general, struggling, and just how IVF gave people hope where there was none.
Right.
Like, it was really I found it quite emotional. I didn't think it was a great series, but the emotional moments really hit me, which showed that I must have been thinking about having children or something, because it was just very difficult for me to watch. I was just like, wow. And also, I didn't feel guilty, but just how dismissive I had become before I met Hannah, how dismissive I had become about like, oh, I've just gotten to an age now where I just won't have a kid.
Right.
And I was fine with it.
You had
but
come
then
to terms with that, yes.
to see the importance of it for these people, particularly the women in this series, really affected me actually, because I was like, oh my God, like it really matters to them and they don't have the choice. So I almost felt like, God, the selfishness of having the choice, and well, assuming I have the choice, the selfishness of having that choice, but just being flippant and blasé about it.
Oh God.
But that was just the emotional roller coaster I went through on the show.
Yeah.
Which showed, I dismissed the show as not good, but actually it must have been decent because I was having
you were moved to tears.
But I was also having like real thoughts about myself. Yeah.
Right.
So it must have been decent, The other thing I want to point out is that I wrote a television pilot and a treaty, like a
treatment.
A treatment for a series about artificial insemination.
No way.
With my lesbian friend. Now it didn't get anywhere in the end, but it was called Uncle Dad. I think I talk about it now. I used to not talk about it because you're worried about like people taking your idea.
Totally.
Ursula Carlson, great comic. She was in Amy Schumer's latest. Kind of Pregnant.
Yes.
She's the crazy friend.
Yes.
The fat friend. Let's call a spade a spade. And she's like the funny fat friend.
Yeah.
And she has 2 kids with her partner, or her ex. But anyway, so she had the real experience. But I always had this idea. So Ursula and I came together on an idea that we kind of both had, which was at my dad's funeral, right? I have a gay cousin. I have a lesbian cousin. And I was so broody after. Do you know the term broody? I think it's
broody.
I think it's a European term. Broody means that you want to have a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've noticed in America people don't know the term.
I don't. Yeah. The first
but I
time
think
I've
it's a
seen
great term. Like the brood, it comes from the.
You want to have a brood.
Yeah. So I was broody after my dad died, because all that mattered to my father was his family at the end.
Yep.
And it was just quite profound. And we were there. It was a very profound time in my life in general. So I was very into having a kid then. But I was miles from feeling like I was in a situation where I would have one. So my cousin, who we've always gotten on great. We were always like best friends of the cousins. We were like the paired up. You know the way you kind of pair up with a cousin?
Yeah.
And at the time she had a girlfriend, but she's since married to somebody else. But I said, listen, if you guys ever want to have a kid, I
I'll
can do
be
the
the
sperm
sperm.
to your partner because then you'll have a genetic connection to the kid.
No kidding.
So that was at the after of the after party.
At the funeral after party.
At the food after my dad's funeral, and she was like, "Yeah, we'll see, whatever." But of course, like our family's so crazy. It was like, "Why would you want my fucking sperm?" It's like I think I'll be happy to have the less of our genetics, to be honest. Anyway, so that's a joke, but partially true. So anyway, I had written this other thing. I had written this other thing called Uncle Dad, which was not about artificial insemination.
Uncle Dad.
Yeah. But so the original idea was an Irish thing. So basically, this is going to get a bit long-winded, but I'll say it all anyway, right? So the original idea was an Irish series. So I had a lot of jokes in my early Irish career about being American, coming to Ireland at 14 and being a fish out of water. But by the time I was writing this, I was like nearly 40 years old, adult, and I wanted to sort of write those jokes through the voice of a teenager. So I wrote a show called Uncle Dad, where there was this kind of like fuckboy guy, Peter Pan, that never grew up, but had been married like really young in his 20s.
Okay.
Divorced, had a kid, but was not there for his kid.
Okay.
But sadly, his ex-wife dies.
Okay.
And at a very late stage in his life, he ends up with the kid. But so the idea behind him was that he was like a music magazine journalist at a time where that industry was just dead.
Okay.
So he didn't have the financial means to look after her. So he moves back to Ireland with his American 14-year-old daughter, his kind of like life up in the air. And he moves in with his Irish parents who had gone back to Ireland in retirement. So now he's back with his Irish parents living in Ireland as kind of like an American with his American daughter. And she is having the experience that I had moving to Ireland as a teenager. And I'm having the experience, which I just thought would be a good character, of the Gen X who is now stuck in a world where all his skills are useless.
So, and it's called Uncle Dad.
I called him Uncle Dad
because he acts
wasn't,
like an uncle.
Yeah, he wasn't there for his daughter. So now he's suddenly like the uncle character, right?
I want to be an aunt mom.
Right. So you want to be an auntie mom.
Auntie mommy.
Yeah.
I like it.
So anyway, I had this idea, and then me and Ursula did my podcast, and we were joking around, and I was like, Ursula, I have this idea, but I think I just figured out what the idea is. Instead of Uncle Dad being this like Peter Pan guy, what if his sister is like a fucking type A, like super woman that wants to have a kid but she can't get pregnant, and her partner is you, who's fucking hilarious, and oddly enough, you and the Peter Pan brother have like a bromance, but she's a lesbian, but we have a bromance.
I love it.
And they were trying to use, so after like numerous failed attempts at IVF failure, like we're talking about,
right?
The type A feels like a total failure. So they decide to use the brother sperm for Ursula, and then all the dynamics that ensue as a result.
I'm actually interrupting. I'm so sorry.
No.
Oh, you're totally.
There's a building collapse, so the fire department is saying we have to evacuate the building.
That is so funny. We were talking about evacuation earlier.
Okay, we'll wrap it.
Where is it?
It's the building behind this one. But
Wow.
They're not letting anyone in. So
Oh,
everyone
shit.
gets out, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Well, I guess
Okay.
lucky us, it wasn't here.
No, seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Finish that thought.
Okay, so this idea is not important enough to not be in a building collapse. But anyway, you have to keep this in because this doesn't. There's an actual building collapse.
What does that
I
even
thought it was just
mean?
the economy that was collapsing. I didn't know it was a building on Grand Street. But anyway, so very quickly, so it was basically all the dynamics that ensue from the type A's partner getting pregnant first go.
Yep.
And just and the mother of the type A and me, never accepted Ursula.
Right.
And it was anyway, whatever. It never got made, but
Well,
but it's a
Des,
good script. If
it's
anybody wants to
amazing.
pick it up, Ursula was really good and kind of pregnant. So.
It's amazing. Des, I could talk to you
I
forever.
wish we could talk more because we were just about to get into the lesbian sperm donation.
There's buildings collapsing
Jesus
in NYC.
Christ, we'll talk about that. Hold that thought.
Okay. Oh, listen. You'll be back, Des, please.
Yeah, we'll be back. Part 2, we'll explore the
Literally.
the experience that you're having.
Yes.
But I'm assuming you went to Denmark for your sperm.
No, we just found a really sexy kid.
Oh, so one of the jokes in Uncle Dad, which I'll finish with, is that like So they were like talking about sperm donation, and they were like, well, he's tall, he's very good looking, very good at sports, he's very smart. And I was like, wow, lesbians get pretty shallow when it comes to picking their sperm. Like lesbians are so woke, they're always so woke until it comes to sperm donation, and then they're like, we want a Trump supporter for a fucking
Literally,
sperm.
we were like, he's in his early 20s. We saw him. We were like, he's tall. He has muscles. He's funny.
He's everybody we hated.
Literally.
He's why we're lesbians.
Literally. But that's the future father of our child.
Yeah, anyway.
Des, I love you so much. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You guys, follow Des on Instagram, and also, where can people find you, Des?
Well, I have a new podcast with my friend John Bishop called The Bishop Exchange. I have a podcast with Hannah called Burnerful, which is really going well.
It's really great.
Caught a rhythm now. And I'm filming a special on the Comedy Cellar on May 13th. If this doesn't come out before that, it's on May 13th, which is actually Hannah and I's 3rd anniversary. Which will be
Happy
Stassi's anniversary also.
You got it. Same time, same wedding.
So it's that'll be May 13th at the Comedy Cellar.
Loves
you
it.
You can book that at the Comedy Cellar website.
And Des, where can they follow you on social media?
At Dez Bishop.
You got it. You guys, that is it for us. We have to
run
for our
evacuate.
lives. But have a great one. Until tomorrow, bye, girl, bye.